Hi everyone, it's Janine, and I'm here today to talk to you about writing poetry. Now, I don't want anybody to be scared off. I'm not going to sit here and lecture you and give you specific things that you need to follow to become a successful poet. I'm not that type of a person. I really just want to give you guys some personal opinions when it comes to writing poetry, and I hope that that will inspire some to maybe create poetry or find yourself in a different artistic fashion and be able to express yourself that way. Poetry is a way to express yourself. It is a way to express a thought, an idea, a feeling, an emotion, whatever it is that you want to express. It's a very classy and beautiful and creative way that you can express yourself. I started using poetry as a way for me to expand my vocabulary and a way for me to practice vocabulary and language and also to express myself. I needed an outlet, and I love language. I love reading. I love discovering different styles of language and different words and how different words can go together and things like that. And whenever you do that, you just put it all together and you can create a poem. And I guess that's kind of what I was doing. I started doing that when I was probably in about fourth or fifth grade. So if I can do it at that age, anybody can write a poem. It's definitely okay. But a lot of people are, I think, are afraid of writing poetry because they don't think they're going to be good because a lot of poems are difficult to understand. And if you write a poem and you think that it's just, regular language and just normal, whatever, everyday language and things like that, that it's not going to be good because people are going to understand exactly what it is and people are going to think it's cheesy or it's lame or something like that. And I used to think that way. And I still write that way. I also like to go and explore and learn new language and learn new vocabulary and things like that so I can start using, old English terms or things like that so I can find different ways to express myself. But in the beginning I was writing feelings and I was writing, a feeling. I would write angry or upset over and over again. And that's because that's how I was feeling. And then I was able to use my creative juices and put pen to paper and actually start describing these feelings instead of just giving the, general term and things like that. When you give more description and you give a wider vocabulary, sometimes it's easier for people to relate to it. I found myself relating to poetry probably for the first time whenever I was about a sophomore in high school. We were studying Emily Dickinson, and I love Emily Dickinson. She's fascinating, and she's a brilliant, brilliant poet. Um, but I found myself relating to it because she was describing a way she was feeling about a situation that I have never gone through in my entire life. And I honestly couldn't even relate to that aspect, but she started describing ways that she was feeling, and when she was doing that, I was able to relate to it. I had had those feelings before. The way she described it, it was, I know what that feeling is. Like, oh, other people can feel that way too. It's just one of those things. It's like it's so easy for you to relate to it if someone can describe it a certain way. And Emily Dickinson had that fashion, and it was very easy for me to start relating myself to certain feelings. And that's when I realized that I really liked poetry. You can really find yourself liking poetry if you find the right hook. You need to find the person, you need to find the poet, the style, the form, something that it is that inspires you or that you can relate to, and things like that. If you're able to do that, then I think that you're actually going to enjoy poetry. Because I hated poetry until that class. We started studying Emily Dickinson, and that was the beginning. I even had to write a poem in Emily Dickinson-esque fashion, and I didn't really know what that meant, except for she's very metaphorical. So I used a lot of metaphors, like I was describing a guy that I had had feelings for as the sun, and I basically went from there. And that's all it really was. I went from there, and it was actually rather creative to the point that my teacher wanted me to submit it into a contest, and I did, and I won. So I thought that that was pretty awesome. And as cheesy as it sounds, that it worked. I was expressing myself. It was something that people were able to relate to. People were able to understand that type of feeling, and when they did that, then they enjoyed it. So if I won when I was able to describe a guy that I had had feelings for over a year, and he was one of my best friends, and I related him to a son, then yeah, it's pretty much possible you can write about anything, and you just really need to make it relatable. You really need to make it personal, and you need to make it you, your own personality. Um, when I was in college, I took 2 semesters of a poetry writing class, and my poetry professor told me that the only way that I can write a successful poem is if I get out of my head and I am able to express myself by putting pen to paper. And that's it. So I listened to him. The only way I can get myself out of my head is by blasting music. So I went back to my dorm room and I put headphones on and I blasted really, really loud music. I think I was listening to rap or something. I was probably listening to Drake. It's like my favorite rapper. And I was listening to him, I'm sure, and I blasted it. I wasn't even listening to the words. I was not listening to the song really at all. I was just letting the beat kind of take everything out of my head. And once it did that, I put pen to paper and I thought of one thing that I wanted to talk about, one thing that I wanted to express and let out, and I was able to do it. And I created a poem. I finished it in like 5 minutes, and it was a great poem. I had to edit it, of course, but it really was. It was great. It was one of the best poems that I've ever written. And so from that point on, I started writing that way. I honestly think that if you're interested in poetry and if you're able to relate yourself to poetry, you will probably find the same thing. I don't want people to be afraid of it. I was afraid of it. And now that I'm not, it is my go-to. It's my outlet, it's my escape. I love reading novels. I love exploring different worlds and being part of stories and things like that. But I am a language person, and language is expressed so heavily in poetry. And I mean, stories are even expressed in poetry. You just need to find the right poets. I love British and like romantic poetry and things like that. I love that. I love it. I love sonnets. I even love cheesy rhyme scheme little kid poems, like I love it. I love Dr. Seuss. I love those types of things. It's fun. It's a way to express yourself using vocabulary and language. And if you find that one thing, like if you're an artist, if you're a painter, if you're a drawer, if you're a sculptor, anything like that, you just kind of do your thing. You let out your emotions and you let out your feelings and things like that. And if you're able to do that and you can express yourself, that's the most important thing. And I think that when it comes to writing poetry, that has to be the most important thing. You just need to be you. Don't listen to form, don't listen to structure, don't listen to rhyme scheme. If you want to use those things, you can. Use it as guidance. It's definitely not an issue. You can use those things. I am not a mathematical person. I am a pen to paper person, and I do that. But if people need structure, if they need rules, if they need directions, then use it. Study different styles of poetry and ask your professors, ask your teachers, anything like that. And ask them what they think a great style of poetry is that you should write and use that as your formula. But if you are not that type of a person and you're more like me when it comes to just wanting to create and doing whatever it is that you want to do, just going with the flow kind of a thing, just do it. It's not an issue. Just do it. Just just write pen to paper. Get out of your head. Write your expressions because trust me, in the end it is the most enjoyable and rewarding experience in your life. And I think that it is great. And I really just wanted to share that with everybody. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too boring. I tried to not ramble a whole lot. I'm that type of a person. I'm sorry. But I really hope that people come to appreciate poetry just a little bit more and to not be as afraid of it as I know a lot of people are. So thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you next time.